So settling into a comfortable seated position. Think about stacking the feet under the shins to give a little extra support from your knees. And once you have your lower body settled and arranged and connected with the downward energy into the earth, you can find some lightness in the spine. Think about extension through the back of the neck, crown of the head, lengthening up towards the ceiling. And from that space, let your shoulders soften away from the ears. And as you give your body a scan this morning, notice if you have a tendency to hold the shoulders a little bit up and tight, and then really encourage that space to surrender, soften, and let go. In the physical postures, there's usually something that is contracting and something that is releasing. And partly because that's a natural function of the body. When an opposing muscle group contracts, the other side releases and lets go. So that's just one of the beautiful intuitive or wisdom things in your body that naturally happens. But of course, our mind, our nervous system has other ideas. So a lot of times we have these areas where we hold tension all the time. And a lot of times that can be in the shoulders. And if you think about that idea of the contraction and the relaxation, if one part is contracting all the time and that opposing group is in relaxation, then the relaxation part is important when you want to relax, but it's never in a place of strength. So our idea in our yoga and the physical body, and then of course off of the mat, is to create balance and equanimity in the body, the mind, and ultimately the soul and the spirit. Let's take a deep breath in together. And exhale, sighing out. Do that 2 more times. Nice, clearing, cleansing breath before we get moving, filling yourself up. As you exhale, soften shoulders a little bit more away from the ears. One more time, filling yourself all the way up and up and up. And then exhale, sighing out, letting go. And keep the eyes closed for a few more moments, just softening into a space of observation. Watching your body breathe. These times of observation also create balance, particularly in the mind that tends to be very, very active. It likes to be attached to our ego, thinking, creating a lot of stories, sometimes a lot of drama. So in these periods of observation, you can change into that idea of being the witness, allows the mind a place to relax. Understands that it is not always connected to the processes of the body and the mind. Simply observe your body breathing. And in this moment, you understand that you are not the doer, you are not the breather. You're simply the one who watches the body breathe. On your next inhalation, sweep the arms up, reach up and overhead. You can keep the hands separated to start if your shoulders feel tight, or touch the palms if that feels okay. And as you exhale, hands down to heart center. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, circling up, spiraling up. And exhale, hands to heart. Again, inhale, reaching, sweeping up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. And pressing the thumbs at the center of the chest, flipping the chest to meet the thumbs. Pausing here in this position of hands in Namaste or Anjali Mudra, heart-centered mudra. You're going to start to lengthen and deepen your inhales. And as you do, see if you can draw the breath up the center of your body so you feel the lift of the chest and the lift of the thumbs and the hands as you find breath up into and underneath the collarbones. And as you exhale, contracting gently at pelvic floor, lower abdominal muscles. So your exhalation becomes this place of strength. On the inhalation, you fill from the bottom to the top. And on exhalation, you empty from top to bottom, beginning with that contraction of pelvic floor and lower abdominal muscles. That really assists the breath's exit as you gently contract. Release that squeeze as you fill. And as you exhale, finding that strength at the root. 2 more breaths like this, really filling from bottom to top. The pelvis expands. Breath at the center of the body, up and underneath the collarbones, even to the throat. And exhaling all the way back down, emptying completely. 1 more time. And I'm reaching the arms up. So you're going to reach the arms up. Again, tight shoulders might require a little bend in the elbows. Curl the fingers in and the thumbs point up. We'll be practicing Kapalabhati breathing. As a quick reminder, on exhalation, the belly pulls in, diaphragm scoops in and up. Inhale is passive. You release the belly and the breath just reflexively comes back in. We'll take several rounds of this breath, and then I will give you some instructions for an inhale retention. So just starting nice and easy, breath in together. Open mouth exhale, let yourself relax. Don't try too hard as we begin. Belly begins to pump. Good. Inhale, stretch up. You're going to hold that breath in, holding with full lungs as you hook your thumbs and make your arms nice and long. The chin will gently tuck down towards the throat. So you stay tall. This isn't a folding down, but instead just a drawing back of the chin. And you're holding your breath in, full lungs. So if you happen to exhale, just fill yourself back up. And holding here with full lungs creates a big stretch for the arms, the shoulders. And you feel the energy rising up through the center channel of the body, moves up to that point of the collarbones where you're tucking the chin. And that chin lock at the top helps to keep too much prana from going up into your brain. We're trying to create some balance here. The heat and energy in the body, space, and the shoulders. Of course, when you need to exhale, you will circle the arms down, letting the palms rest on the knees, really soften shoulders away from ears. Allowing for the release after the effort. And simply observe the breath that wants to come back into balance. It will naturally begin to smooth and even. And we're going to take another round. So inhale, reaching the arms up, curling the fingers in. And remember, in this breathing technique, there's more emphasis on the exhalation. Just to get into that easy space, let's again, cleansing breath, fill up, sigh out, and beginning the Kapalabhati breath. Releasing the pranayama, and then inhale, filling up. Hold the breath in as you hook your thumbs and stretch the arms long. Sitting up really tall as the chin tucks back towards the throat. And then you're gonna sit in this prana. It's like you've created a container now with your body. You can gently contract pelvic floor muscles if you're familiar with Mula Bandha, and that gentle tucking in of chin towards the throat, Jalandhara Bandha. And then you hold here, inhale, retention, the lungs are full. And just feel all that vibration and energy circulating here in the torso. Of course, you'll exhale when you need to, but if you're still holding, then just consider this prana or life force that you've really stoked up here, creating a bath for your abdominal organs. A lot of the glandular systems are held here. Lots of very vital stuff held in this container. You're bathing in prana, energy, and light. And once you've released, the hands will circle down and rest on the knees. And just take a moment to observe. Skull shining breath is the nickname for Kapalabhati. So if you felt a little tired right now, feel that nice, shiny, awake brain. Feel that vibration, the center of your body. And then observe as the breath comes back to that place of equanimity and balance. And then you're going to extend the right arm up and bring the fingertips to the right shoulder blade. And maybe you just wrap your left arm around here, just at the lower part of your waist or the sacrum. So you're opening up both shoulders in different stretches. Don't try to force into any kind of clasp at this point, even if you normally do that. And just settling here and just observe the two sides are doing very different things. You've got that extension through the tricep on the right arm, and that's going to soften the muscles of the bicep, which will allow you to wiggle the fingers a little closer to the shoulder blade. And you're creating a stretch along the side waist. And on the left side, you're getting a lot of sensation and space in the rotator part of the shoulder. So across the pectoral muscles into these attachments here. And just breathe for 1 or 2 more breaths. And slowly begin to bring the hands back to the knees. Take a moment to pause as things settle back into a more natural, normal position. And bringing the left arm to extend up, fingertips rest at the shoulder blade, and the right arm comes around and just rest at the lower back. If that even feels too much, you could always take the back of the hand to the back of the right hip. So just find a position to settle in. Just a little sensation without feeling like you're pushing too hard. Chest is lifting and you get some upper back extension. So this also creates an upward rise of energy. It's essentially doing a back bend. 1 or 2 more breaths. And then sliding, releasing, back down and around, palms rest on the knees. And bringing the right fingertips over to the right, extending the left arm up, and now side stretch. Reaching left fingers over to the right. Try to keep both sides of your waist long. So of course there's a bend here, but you don't want to be slumping down like that's getting you farther over. That's just pulling from the shoulder joint. And where you want to be lengthening and reaching from is up and out of the waist. Another back bending pose. You can feel that upper back extension, maybe even emphasizing by rotating the chest a little bit towards the ceiling. And then sweeping the left arm up and over, reach the right arm. Nice and long through both sides of the waist as you reach over to the left. And if you want to create a slight emphasis on the back bend, you can gently rotate chest towards the ceiling. It's a small movement, micro movement. And sweeping up and over. And now both arms reaching up. And exhaling, hands to heart. Bringing the hands to shins for cat and cow. So seated cat and cow today, lifting the chest. And then we're rolling back through the shoulder blades. Just feeling space in the chest, shoulders as you rock through these 2 movements. The seated cat and cow feels very different from doing it on hands and knees. You've got hips to contend with, lower back to contend with. So use the strength of your abdominals to create the movement and try to be loose in the hips and the sacral area. So just a little rocking back and forth on the sits bones. Making your way back to center when you complete your rounds. And then you can roll over hands and knees, roll over onto hands and knees. And remember, if you need a little extra cushion, you can use your thinly folded blanket. All right. So coming to hands and knees position, and you're going to extend your right leg straight back. So for this pose, we're going to be finding length on the inhale as you press back to the sole of the foot. And then on the exhalation, the leg is going to swing forward. So you're just swinging nice and easy through the hip joint. Not that it is easy to do, because it's not, it's very challenging. It's going to be working strongly through your abdominals, through these outer hip muscles. And you try to keep the body as still as you can while the leg swings. Stay loose in the hip joint and let the muscles really work and do their job. So you might start to feel some heat in your center, definitely feeling sensation on the outer right hip as you swing. Do that one more time. Good, and then extend back, point the toe up towards the ceiling as you bend the knee, and then we're gonna do some swinging through the front side of the hip. So you're gonna inhale like cow pose, and exhale, drawing in like cat. We'll just swing through. Nice and loose. I'm going to take that one more time. And then stretching, lengthening back, a nice press. Knee comes down to the ground. And then child's pose. Nice slow descent into child's pose, making sure that the back, lower back feels good. Forehead can come down to the floor, or you could even stack your hands for a little extra support. Forehead to the hands. And taking a few resting breaths there. As you're resting, observe the breath as it comes back to balance. Now rising back up to hands and knees. Once you have the knees under the hips and the hands under the shoulders, extend back through the left leg, really pressing through the sole of the foot. And that activation of hamstrings and glutes as you press. And then starting to swing. If you have a lot of stuff like I do, you have to be careful as you swing out to the side. A little extra sound for you guys this morning. All right. Nice and easy in the hip joint, working strongly through your abdominal and those. What really wraps around the outside of your hip are your glute muscles. So the glute medius and minimus really working here, amongst a few other things. Do that one more time. And then stretching back through the left leg, pointing the toe up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, pull knee to nose. And just swinging in the hip, letting the muscles do their job as the hip joint stays nice and loose. All right, the next time that you complete your round, bringing the knee back down and take another resting moment in child's pose. Really create some softness in hips and lower back. Your way up to stand on your knees. So this knee position, just stack the bones under the hips and arms are up by the sides. And like two big wings, you're going to inhale and sweep the arms up, touch the palms, and exhale, sweeping down. So I'm going to come down to sit on my heels so you can see. So it's like this, just two big wings, sweeping up and down. As you come up, let these muscles here at the top of the shoulder, the trapezius muscles, and they also come around the back, soften a little bit. And you want to create that balance between effort and ease, right? So you're softening the shoulders so they're not too tense. You're not trying to lift with your shoulders. Keep that relaxed and let the arms do the work. And you're going to start to have a lot of sensation building in the arms and the shoulders. So I want you to just practice observing the sensation. You can close your eyes. On your inhale, you sweep up, and on your exhale, you sweep down. And as the sensation builds, so does that lower mind, right? That's coming from the ego, the smaller self that's like doesn't like to feel uncomfortable. And just see if you can bring an easy attitude to this. So we know there is some sensation that's building. We know that it will go away when the movement stops. So trying to stick with it for a few more breaths. Inhaling up, exhaling down, these big wings. Maybe you want to visualize where you'd like to fly, fly off to as soon as you can. Where would your wings take you if you could go anywhere right now? Good. The next time that you lift up, press the palms, take a moment to extend through the fingertips, and then exhale, bring hands to heart. And you can go ahead and join me in Hero's Pose, sitting back onto the heels. Keep the hands at the heart for just a moment. Soften shoulders. Feeling the elevation of the heartbeat under your hands as they're resting at the heart. Now we'll start to slow back down. And you can soften the backs of your hands to your thighs. If Hero's Pose doesn't work for your knees, make sure you're sitting on your bottom easy seat. And the sensation just drifts away, and behind that is a lot of warmth and opening and vibration. That's the prana. Come on forward onto your knees. And if you're feeling a little sensitive from that longer sit in Hero's Pose, just take a small rocking back through one heel and the other without going to full extension. And just loosening up the space behind the knee. All right, so a little bit of lunging. You're going to bring the right foot forward between the hands. If you need blocks or books or something to rest your hands on, you can place that at the front of your mat. Right foot forward between. You can gently slide the left knee back. Take a few breaths here, getting some space in the front of your left hip. Let the spine be long. Like you're breathing from down low in the belly all the way up to the collarbones. Breath rises up that center channel, filling from bottom to top. When you empty, let that be from top to bottom, but find the strength at the pelvic floor and lower abdominal muscles to assist the breath's exit. Now beginning to walk your hands to your right thigh. Back the hips up a little bit. You don't want to be too heavy here. That creates a lot of strain in the joint. So you're going to get the left hip stacking more over the left knee. Interlace your fingers at the thigh and then press and lift the spine. You can stay right here, or you can always have your hands on the floor. If you're feeling steady, reach the arms up. And then bringing the palms together and the thumbs to the back of the skull, you can rest your head right here. And your hands getting a little bit more upper back extension. Keep lifting through the pelvic floor for strength. And now interlace your fingers and press the palms up to the ceiling. And maybe take a side stretch over to the right. So you're just going through the steps that feel right for your body. You could always be staying with hands on the floor. Inhale, back up. And exhale, hands come down. You're going to push back through the hands and bring the right knee back. And then take a wide knee child's pose. So you'll rest between sides, softening hips back. And as you come down to the ground, notice the differences between the two sides. Maybe we have a little unbalance right now in the body, having only done one side. So it's nice to be able to observe the side that you've already worked on, how that's feeling. Heat, energy, prana into the left hip. And come on back up. And bringing the left foot forward between the hands. Starting off with the hips a little bit more towards the floor so that you're really getting some good stretch and space in right side hip flexors. Spine is nice and long. And think about each breath as if it's breathing the spine long. Already tapping into the long inhalations that rise up and underneath the collarbones. And strength at pelvic floor and lower abdominals that create that exhalation as a place of strength. And remember, you can keep your hands on the floor or blocks, or you can start to walk yourself up. And the right hip is stacking over the right knee, so you're nice and lifted as you interlace the fingers and push away. If you feel steady, reach the arms to the ceiling, keep drawing up through the pelvic floor muscles, touch the palms, and bring the thumbs to the back of the skull and getting that upper back extension, but with a place to support the head. So it feels really good. Not to mention you're doing this big stretch up this inner line of waist, armpits, and tricep. And as you come back up, interlace the fingers and press palm to ceiling, and then side stretching over to the left, getting some more space in right side ribs. Come back to center, breathe in. As you exhale, hands lower down, giving that push into the hands to help to get you back. Left knee slides back, and knees wide as the hips settle to the heels for child's pose. Breathe into that new space now on the right side hip. And as the energy settles, see if you feel some balance now between the two sides. Rising back up, planting the palms onto the mat, and bringing the right foot forward between the hands. Curl the back toes under, and you have the option now to lift the back knee. So that's an option. The knee could stay down on the ground like this, or you could be lifting up through the back knee. Walking the hands to the thigh. And then bringing hands to heart center. So one possibility here, or the back knee could be down. We're setting up for a spinal twist. The back knee lifted or on the floor, rotating through the torso, hooking the left elbow to the outside of the right knee and pressing hands to heart for spinal twist. Rotate back to center. If you have the back knee lifted, get the hands onto the floor first to support as you lower the knee down. And shifting back, and this time in the resting position, not as long of a hold on that round, so just shift the hips side to side. You could take some circles, whatever feels good as a releasing or resting action. And then when you're ready, come back to center, planting left foot between the hands. And deciding if you want to keep the back knee down or back knee lifted. And once you are steady, rising up, hands to heart. Nice and long through the tail. And again, you have this energy moving up to the pelvic floor. That's really good support. As you rotate through the rib cage, and this time right elbow to left knee as you press and twist. Come on back to center. If the back knee is lifted, get the hands on the ground first before you lower down, and then sliding back. Again, taking some kind of releasing movement side to side or rotating the ribs around, just getting some release. You're going to be returning to your hero's pose. And you know that always, if you have any issues with your knees, that you could take easy seat instead. The nice thing about hero's pose, if your knees allows, is that if your knees allow, then you get a more of a natural curvature in the spine. The tight hips don't come into play. So when you sit on your bottom, you have a different sensation in the knees, and a lot of times this can create more stiffness in the lower back. So whatever works for you. We're going to be taking eagle arms. Arms out to the side, and then taking right under left, wrapping up. So if you are really tight, it might look more like this. The backs of the hands might not come together, or you may be able to press backs of hands or even palms. I'm going to give you that side view. The right arm is underneath the left for the first round. And then just a little lift and a softening of the elbows. It's only about an inch that you're lifting up, but you can feel that creates more stretch between the shoulder blades and a little bit of a back bending action. Upper part of your spine is extending. And now soften the elbows down so there's no lifting action. And then just take a little twist to the right and back to center. Again, very small movement. Twist to the left, back to center. You can feel a different stretch and sensation in that upper part of your back. Do one more round. And when you're complete, unwind. And you'll take a break by coming up onto the knees. Walking the hands forward for downward facing puppy. So giving the knees a little break here and lengthening through both sides of the waist. Slowly begin to walk the hands back in towards the body. And if your knees are still feeling good, returning to your hero's pose. Arms out to the sides. And this time, the left arm will come under the right, wrapping up. Okay. So taking your position, maybe the hands are separated, maybe you're even at shoulders. Maybe the palms come to touch, and then a little bit of a lift, and a little bit of a softening. Very small movement. It's like you're massaging out the place and space between the shoulder blades. And using the breath to help. We know the inhale helps to lift the chest, create a little back bending action. And the exhale is that place of strength. And then settling the elbows back to a soft place so you're not lifting anymore. And then rotating to the left and center. So very small movement, and to the right and center. Doing that a couple more times. Completing the round that you're on. And then coming back to center, unwinding. Coming up and off of the knees. And walking the hands forward and coming into your downward facing puppy. So the tailbone's pointing up towards the ceiling, chest is stretching back towards the thighs. Lift the head and walk the hands maybe a tiny bit closer in towards your body, curling the toes under, lifting the hips up and back for downward facing dog, and a little pedal of the feet because the knees are going to be sensitive after that long sit in hero's pose. So a lot of softness in the knees, and you could always keep the knees on the ground and just be in puppy pose.
And if you're in downward facing dog, let both knees bend. Take a few moments of stillness in the pose. Lots of length through both sides of the waist. And looking forward to the hands, whether the knees are up or down, you're going to get the feet up in between the hands. Inhale, finding a flat back. Feet can be hips width apart for a little easier sensation in the hips. And on your exhalation, belly towards the thighs. Inhale. And exhale. Do that one more time. On the inhalation, you get this nice stretch of the backs of your legs. Get a little bit of love to the hamstrings. And on your exhale, the knees soften, belly meets the thighs. And now taking a hold of opposite elbows, and just letting the weight of the upper body traction the spine. Full release of the head and neck. So you can shake a little side to side. Make sure that feels completely released. And settle in for a few moments of stillness. Releasing the hands now, deeper bend in the knees and from the pit of the belly, roll on up. All right. So what you're going to be working on here, and this might be standing on the mat, but if balance is something that is a little bit nerve-wracking for you, you could always be doing this down on the knees. So I'm going to give the two demonstrations. So if you don't want to stand up and work on balancing, you could be on your knees and just doing the eagle arms again, but you'll be doing it from this knee position. If you want to work on a standing balance, that will be my invitation. I'm going to back up as much as I can. And you're going to have the feet firmly into the ground, standing in mountain pose for a moment so you can feel strong. And the invitation is going to be for a variation of eagle pose. So if you are new to kind of working on standing balance, you're just going to cross the right ankle over the left, keep the toes on the floor, hips are pointing straight ahead, arms out to the side, taking the right arm under the left for eagle. If you happen to practice the full leg position, you're absolutely welcome to have the toes off of the ground working there. But that's a very challenging balancing pose. So just having the toes on the floor, and there's a little softness in the knees. So let me give you the side view. There's a little softness in the knees. The tail is long. This is going to give you some stretch on the outer right hip. Right arm is under the left for eagle arms. Good. Unwind the arms. Bring your hands to your hips and squeeze here for balance as you straighten left leg and uncross. Take a moment to stand in your mountain pose, strong and steady. Feeling that smoothing and evening quality in the breath. And then crossing the left foot over the right. So the ankles are kind of stacked here, and you soften the knees a little bit. When you bend the knees, you'll feel a deeper stretch in the hip. Arms are out to the side. And then the left comes under the right, wrapping up. I'm going to get a little bit lower so you can see. Just like this. And the tailbone is long. Squeeze the inner thighs together. And unwind the arms. Straighten the legs and uncross. And then come to stand in your mountain pose. Press down into your feet. And now notice where the sensation is in your body. Just observe the sensation as it dissipates and changes. Maybe that strong sensation turns more into a gentle heat or energy, vibration. And then turn the toes out. And you're going to use a transition into yogic squat. So bend the knees a little bit, get the hands down on the ground for support, and then nice and easy coming into Malasana. So the knees are out to the side. You could even be sitting on something, a bolster or a block if you need more support. But this should feel like a really good release now for hips, lower back. You might like to add in a twist here. You can reach the right arm out to the side and squeeze right knee to right tricep. And all you have to do is lift the left fingers up to the ceiling, creating just a gentle twisting action. Hands come back to center. And the left arm, reach out, hugging knee and tricep together as you reach up. And hand comes back down, and then you're going to make your way down onto the floor. So sometimes people like to test their skills of strength in the center and just sit on down, but other people like to put the hands down and use a little extra care as you roll back down to the ground. If you happen to have a blanket that you're working with, this is an excellent time to put it under your seat. Now we're going to be working on one more shoulder stretch. And this is also where your little towel or yoga strap can come in handy, but I'll also be offering a modification. So crossing the left leg under the right and crossing the right leg over the left. This is going to create a stretching sensation in outer right hip. And you have another option. We have not done a lot of hip opening today, so I'm going to demonstrate, but in no way, shape, or form do I feel like you need to do this. This is where you walk a little bit, where your feet come more to an even position, the knees are stacked. So that could be a possibility for you, but I don't want you to force into that position. So you could just have the left leg underneath and the right leg on top with the right knee pointing up towards the ceiling, like that. And now bringing the left arm up, really get some strength and length through the side waist. And then bring the left fingertips down to the left shoulder blade. And you could give a little gentle stretch here, lengthening through the tricep. And now bringing the right arm around, wiggling. Oh, I'm sorry, this is where you would be holding your strap or towel, is in that top hand. So that you could hold on to something, but maybe you can clasp fingers. And if you're really close, I'm gonna give you the other view. If you're really close but you don't quite get there, you can give some help, but you don't want to create any strain. So just take your position. Now remember, the shoulders are doing two different things. So the one to pay more attention to is the rotator, this right side that's rotating, because that is the place that could be a little bit more challenged. Just one more breath here. This is a big pose. And then sliding the hands apart. Take a moment to just rest hands on the knees. You can uncross the legs now. Now changing the position for the leg. So the right leg is underneath and the left leg is on top. Left knee is pointing up towards the ceiling. Or you could be taking this position for the legs where the knees are stacked and the feet move farther forward, but never forcing into that. So choosing the position that feels best for you and settling nice and even through both sitting bones. And now the right arm is going to reach up. Get lots of length and stretch. Bring the fingertips to the shoulder blade, gently moving elbow closer to the ceiling. And then the left arm wraps around. And maybe you're clasping, or maybe you're using your towel or your strap as the thing to hold on to. And the spine is long. The breath is flowing from bottom to top. Very slowly separating the hands. Unwind the arms, and then unwind the legs, coming into easy seat, letting the palms rest on the knees. We worked on a lot of asymmetrical poses today, doing one side and then the other. Going back and forth helps to create the state of the equanimity, right? You're coming back to a place of balance. And so now for our forward fold, we'll take a pose that is not doing one side and then the other. Paschimottanasana, sending the legs out in front. Spreading out through the toes. Inhale, get long through both sides of the waist. And exhale, belly towards the thighs. Again, we did minimal hamstring work today, so you don't need to go too far. Just the energy of the forward fold, belly closer to thighs. As you take several breaths here, you might find that you can bring the belly closer to the thighs while the spine stays long and lifted. Nice and slow, again, to walk yourself back up. And bending at the knees. You're going to come down onto your back. All the way down onto the back for bridge pose. You have a lot of space in your body right now, particularly in the shoulders. So as the feet come hips width apart and heels close to the bottom, a nice lift up of the hips, and then using the wiggle of the shoulders under the back to see if you can get an interlace of the fingers. If you get the interlace, walk the shoulders under again, press down into the feet and lift the hips up nice and high. Breathing into the belly, the chest, and then as you exhale, find that strength of the root and the legs. 3 more breaths. Filling up, bottom to top. Emptying out, place of strength. And then separating the hands and nice and slow. 1 vertebra at a time. Come on down. Take a moment to pause here on the floor. And you're going to decide if you have a wall or a chair that's close by. You can absolutely create a legs up the wall position. If you don't have anything like that close by, then what I'd like you to do is just bring the knees into the belly and give yourself a little squeeze, and maybe a gentle twist while you're waiting, or if you have something close by that you can extend the legs, kind of set yourself up now. And you can even use something like a stack of yoga props to create a place to elevate the legs. Like that. You might be in this position. Now, if you don't have a wall, you're going to want the knees to be bent because this would create strain as you rest behind the knees. So support the knees. And the point is to just get a little elevation of the legs. And once you're there, the arms will come alongside. And this is going to be your position for final relaxation. So if you haven't moved to a wall or a chair to rest the legs, then the legs can extend out in front. You soften in, really feel the legs softening down into the hips. So the femurs are just softening into the hip socket. And there's no pressure on the legs, and the lower back should feel very supportive as well. Feel yourself surrender, nice and heavy. Take a few moments of watching your breath slow down. You might want to bring your awareness to the gentle rise and fall at the belly. Taking these few moments to watch the body breathe, come back to this place of equanimity. Surrender any need to be doing anything right now other than observing. You're not the doer. This magical body, magical breath knows just what to do. It will come back to peace and balance, slowing down so much that it mimics sleep. As you get heavier, more relaxed, more surrendered in Shavasana, you can continue to just observe the slowing down of the breath and that gentle pulsation at the belly center. Or you can let yourself drift and float. And as you slide into this place of deep unwinding, undoing, be effortless, that you can connect to something greater. Shavasana. Slowly starting to bring awareness back to the sounds that you're hearing. Bringing awareness back to any sensations in the body. Noticing the temperature in the room. Come back to breath. Notice the breath that's already flowing through. Take a deeper inhale now. Exhale, softly sigh out. And as you're coming back, shifting in from being the observer to being the doer as you take some movement now, wiggling toes and fingers. A little bit of movement into the arms and the legs, get some blood flowing there again. And if you have your legs against a wall or on the chair, you can either slide the heels down the wall and then bring the knees to belly, or if you have a bent knee position, just bring the knees into the belly and give yourself a little squeeze. You could rock a bit side to side. Wherever you find yourself in space right now, create enough space so that you can roll over onto the side and cuddle up there for a few breaths, just taking transition time. So in yogic philosophy, you have 4 states that they speak of. You have the waking, and that's really the doing. You have the dreaming state, which is the transition, where you find yourself now kind of halfway between the 2 worlds, right? And then you have the sleeping state, where we get this peace and rest. And then there's a 4th state that's called Turiya, that is this connection to the something greater, which we hopefully find in Shavasana, meditation, and find in Yoga Nidra particularly. So you're in this sort of dreamy space right now, taking these few moments to transition, and then you can press the palms into the floor and lift yourself up to a comfortable seated position. And maybe maintaining that dreamy state for a few more moments as you take these final breaths here in your practice. We'll take a breath in together, filling up. Exhale, sighing out. Breathing in. Sighing out. And inhaling to our own.
Bringing hands together at heart center, gently pressing thumbs in towards the heart. Another way to connect to that fourth state is through Om, the sound of Om, connecting to that higher source. A moment of gratitude for this practice that brings us to this place of peace, equanimity, balance, and deep connection. Namaste.